What's up, everyone? This is Adam, and I'm here with Jake. And in this episode, we're going to break down Jake's top 25 product releases of 2022. I haven't seen these yet, so I'm excited to see what he has on this list. So without any further ado, Jake, let's get into it. What do you got?
Welcome to the Garage Gym Experiment podcast, where we dive deep into the home gym scene. Each week, we put out Sunday surveys where you tell us your thoughts on products, builds, and all things home gym related. We're here to break down the numbers and to talk shop. So thanks for listening, and let's get started.
All right, let's do this. All right, so let me just give you a few things that were taken into consideration and disclaimers. So number one, this is my list. Like, it could have gone anyway. It was really hard. But what I really took into consideration was just overall value to the home gym community, the level of innovation, and then the initial response and feedback from the community. So over the past year, we've been discussing these new products every week on the podcast. We kind of get a sense as to what most people are interested in. We also have data. And then I'll just mention, there were definitely some really cool things that came out, but they're just not really practical for most people. Like the FT1 from Rogue. It's probably the best functional trainer out there, but most people aren't even going to consider it. So that's something that I just didn't take into consideration, especially considering you can get better value with other things. There are some things on this list that are probably up there in price as well, but it's just one of those things. You'll see. And then a few more disclaimers. I'll just say, I haven't used them all. I think I've used a little bit over half of what's on this list. Again, a lot of it just comes from feedback and just general interest in the product to begin with. I may have simply missed some 2022 releases. We discussed this throughout the year, but might have just missed some. There really aren't many companies making a huge deal about every single product release. So it could have been really interesting to miss. And honestly, there's only two companies that are even saying, hey, Garage Gym Experiment, or hey, other Garage Gym people, these are what's coming next. So there's just not that communication between Garage Gym Experiment and other Garage Gym influencer types and these new product releases. So that's just something to keep in mind. Feel free to add in the comments oh, you missed this one, this should be here. I will take no offense to that. And then number 3 disclaimer is it really was hard. I will say I went into this thinking it was going to be a top 10 list. Then I moved it to a top 15 list and then top 20. And then I was like, oh, might as well just do top 22 for 2022. So I had it down to 22. And then I was like, oh, I need to add these few things. And so it was hard just to narrow down the list. So this might be a little bit longer than it should be, but let's roll. So number 25. The Rogue Color Training 2.0 custom bumpers. So Rogue released this earlier in the year. You basically have the option to add your logo or text onto a number of different options. They are more expensive than traditional bumpers by a decent amount, but still if you're ready to buy once, cry once, definitely affordable. And I think this was the first option made to non-commercial gym or university or high school facilities. So first time home gym owners really had a chance to get those. That was kind of why they made this list. Number 24, selectorized lat / low row from Rep. So this is honestly one of my favorite releases of the year. Something that I've actually going to add. And the only reason it was this low on the list was because there's things out there that are relatively similar. And,
Yeah, this surprises me that you have it at 24.
Yeah, well, there's other options too now from other companies that they're basically the same. Like, I also took into consideration like the Force USA G20 already had this option on their rack. So, and it wasn't too much different than the plate loaded that they released last year. 23, going with the Mod Bar cable attachment from Bare Steel. So this is, born from the community. So maybe you got a little brownie points for that. It's a little expensive. I think if it was more budget friendly, it'd be lower down on this list. But I like the innovation here, combining a couple different cable attachments into one. And, it's a really high quality thing, it looks like. 22, so the barbell stable. I think this is a really good example of really awesome innovation that I just didn't want to leave off the list. So there's no storage quite like it on the market. It's not something that most home gym owners are going to add, but this new storage from Bridgebuilt, the innovation is just really cool, and it's just really slick and awesome to use. And then 21, the barbell anchor isn't quite as slick or as
high tech,
whatever, as the barbell anchor or as the barbell stable, but probably a little bit more practical for most people. This was a really good idea. Again, born from the community. Darko created it, and it looks like he's selling a ton. So personally, I think it's a really good, just someone in the community having a need and actually going out and solving their own problem, and bringing it to market. So it's really cool. Honestly, I preached that there needs to be more specialty bar storage for a while now, and I have to say, I didn't get much feedback from people. They just didn't really see it. But Darko in the community, you can see he has a Mars bar. It's a pain to store, and it's sitting up nicely there. So those were the first 5 I have. Adam, any thoughts there?
Yeah, I just wanted to share 2 things. One that I already shared with the Selectorize lat tower being so low. That one surprised me, I have to say. You gave your reasoning. Makes sense. But yeah, it still did surprise me outside of like even the top 10. I think that's a really cool one. And then you touched on quality when you talked about Bare Steel. I feel so dorky getting so excited about the Selectorize pin that I got for Christmas. But man, the quality on such like a simple item is like, it's out of this world. So yeah, the quality that Bare Steel has is awesome, and Mod Bar seems to like match it as well. So that was a cool one to put on there. Yeah.
Cool. And that's something that's like hard to show in just like traditional pictures. So it's like, it's not until you like see it in person next to your old crappy pen that you really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things sweet.
All right. Let's go down to the top 20. So the XT3 sled. So this one came out earlier in the year. It included, basically was an upgrade to the torque tank with a monitor and then ability to be stored vertically to save up some space. Torque did come out with a few additional perks or a few additional things to kind of match this, like this month in December. But I gave Zebex the edge because they beat them to it earlier in the year. So Zebex gets number 20 here, and I did personally find myself using this over the torque tank specifically because of the monitor, which was pretty cool. 19, and then one other thing, like you mentioned, the Selectorized lat / low row was kind of high on the list, maybe unexpectedly. Rep maybe got a little bit not dinged, but just like I don't want to spoil the top, but they're through this heavily.
I got
so,
I got
so,
you. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But so the Oxalis yoke here at 19. So this is a real beefy yoke that includes a number of features that are really highly specific towards strongman. So maybe a little bit more niche items. Another reason why that's kind of on this list later than expected, even though it's an awesome machine or an awesome unit that I think many in the strongman community would love, but it just didn't get that much like level of interest from the normal home gym owner. So that's kind of why it's also up at 19. Nevertheless, a really cool product here. 18, multi-grip bar from Rep. So Rep already has 3 products here. This was my least, I would say it could very well be the best value multi-grip bar out there. I didn't think it was like too much different than like what Titan has. So that's one reason why it's not too much higher on the list here. But it's a good bar, definitely high value. If you want something under 300, then grab this one, I'd say, or the Titan one. Titan one's pretty good too for the price. 17, let's go to Stray Dog Strength with the GOAT attachment. So this one is, I think, I'm doing a lot of like, why is it so high on this list? So this is a pretty cool attachment that attaches to racks and just a little arm that you can add leg rollers to and add it at multiple positions. And I primarily think of it as something to do for leg curl and leg extensions.
Yeah, I think I've seen like a bulldog style pad on this too. Am I right? I think I've seen.
Yeah, you can. Okay. Yeah, so it has that. It can be locked into a number of different positions. You can use things like a pad. So it's really a little versatile little unit. I think my reasoning for this not being like even lower on the list is because it's decently, like, it's not a cheap thing to add. And I think you can like kind of just hack your way into this as well. We've seen other people do that, but nevertheless, cool thing, kind of with the ability to really add some versatility to your rack from Stray Dog. So so before we get into the next 3, was there any feedback on the 20 through 17?
No, I think you gave pretty good reasoning for each of them. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, cool. And then the next 3 were jammer arm updates or mods. I have number 16 with the Crandall adjustable free motion swing arm. So here they can lock into a number of different places. So it really is kind of like a combination of the Kaizen adapters where they can swivel 180 degrees and also be locked in place. It doesn't look like quite as much variety as the Vendetta adapters, but it's kind of got that kind of combination. So really solid option from Crandall. This is only available in Monster Light. This might have been higher if it was available in other rack sizes as well. I went with 15. I went Kaizen adapter. So I mentioned this is also a product born from the community. Kyle partnered with Gympin to bring these adapters to the market. Right now, they're only for Rogue, but I think Rep and Titan options are coming soon. 14 Vendetta. So this basically locks it into place. This option has been available in Europe for some time, but Vendetta brought it to market in the US, and it's available to it's available for a number of other arms that you can add this versatility to, which basically locks it into place. You can see there's a lot more places than like the Crandall one. And I kind of ranked these in order of which came to market first, and Vendetta has been here since earlier in the year. Any feedback on the jammer arms before I move on?
No, these adapters are interesting.
Yeah. And I think, I mentioned earlier, like the innovation was, if it was like your original idea, I think you got a little more bonus points. And just the fact that these have been in Europe, I think these are an awesome product and could easily have been in the top 5. But kind of like I said.
Well, it's tricky too with jammer arms. You're either a jammer arm person or you're not. So first of all, you have to already have jammer arms, and then you're going to add on these adapters. But if you are a jammer arm person, each of these, they seem like they really bump up the versatility, give you machine-like quality and movements and stuff like that. So it'd be pretty cool add-on. But there are a lot of people out there who just aren't into jammer arms.
Right. Yes. Good point. All right, 13. I went with Clydesdale yoke here. So this also comes from Bridgebuilt. I think the Oxalis yoke. I think this solved a bigger problem for more people than the Oxalis yoke did, with its just easy removability and then ability to be stored up. I think that's huge, especially for a yoke that if you're most likely moving it a lot. If you want to use it as a rack, you're going to be moving that all up and down all the time versus actually using it as a yoke. And I'm speaking from experience, because when I had a yoke, that was the biggest reason I didn't use it as a yoke, because it was a pain, especially if you're by yourself, to like maneuver it into the correct position, and it just slides and wobbles. So simple, but really brilliant idea to make yokes even easier and an even better option for your regular home gym owner. Number 12, Rogue MG-4CN narrow multi-grip. So, Adam, we've put our hands on these, and they're really beautiful, nice, well-made items for the most part. They're expensive. I should say like high quality. I don't think the all of the details were perfect, which is why they were like this. They're on the second model already, which is another reason why this one wasn't lower. So yeah, that's that. Number 12, number 11, very simple product, but something that almost anybody can add to their home gym at a very affordable price and instantly add versatility, is simply the barbell bomb. It's only $45. It's a portable landmine, not quite as like stout and in place as a traditional landmine, but it's something that just about anybody can add and whenever they want. So, all right, that was all right. We're 15 in. We've got 10 more. Any thoughts before I keep going on?
No, there are like a few things like towards the back that I think could have jumped up into 10 spots into here. But overall, like the list is some really nice releases that came out in the year. So
yeah, when we get done, you'll have to tell me what you'd change.
Yeah.
But all right, number 10. So the X series from Force USA. So this was Force USA's non-Smith machine racks that they released. It includes functional trainers and built into a power rack with 3x3 posts, 1-inch holes. These are very solid items. I think maybe like in the previous 2 years, these would have been top 5 releases, but Rep kind of dominated the rack attachments this year and really made these not quite as valuable as they would have been a couple years ago. So, but nevertheless, if you're somebody that wants a full setup without having to build it out or think about it, great options right here. Number 9, the Rep AB-4100. This may just be the most practical item on this list. Based on the data, it's actually it has the highest level of interest out of any other product so far that we've pulled for this year. So yeah, it's not quite as like flashy as an all-in-one trainer, but it's extremely practical, well built, and it's Adam, we've said the AB3000 is the best bench for most people. Mm-hmm. I think I would still say this because the price difference is still like $80. This is like $80 more, but This is like neck and neck in value. Very easy to maneuver. It does beat the AB3000 like easeability of maneuvering around.
Yeah. Looks wise too.
Yeah, so
I mean, this bench looks amazing. I mean, it looks great.
Yeah, it's a rock solid bench. Probably if you're willing to spend 400, it's you're not going to beat it, and it's going to last forever, or a long time at least. Number 8, the Atlas attachment from Clevabuilt. So, multi-grip attachment that you can use for cable, as a cable attachment, or as like a landmine attachment. Extremely well made. You have the ability to move the handles around a little bit. Just a beautiful, well done attachment that, like, honestly, you can buy it and replace every single attachment that you have and only use this, at least for rowing and pull downs.
Jake, you have this one, right?
I do. And this is an example of like what kind of makes the list is some of these I have had personal experience with. I don't know if I would have known how awesome this was without actually having my hands on it and just like finding myself using it all of the time.
Right.
All right. Number 7. So I am obsessed with the idea of an all-in-one rack in addition to a very clean squat rack. And I think the G series from Force USA is basically the closest thing that you can do right now for it. So the G10 and G15 released in January. I have these above the X series for a few reasons. Number 1, it includes a pulley ratio option of 2-to-1 and 4-to-1, so you can go back and forth between those pulley options. They have they also have they added upgrades. So there's jammer arms, there's like leg extension, leg curl options now. So it's like truly like an all-in-one rack. So I'm just a big fan of the upgrades they made to these. Number 6, Rep SSB. So, this is Rep just basically taking all of the SSBs out there, morphing them all into one at a very great value. And I would say this is the best SSB for, it's like it's the best SSB out there for the price. Absolutely. And probably the best one for most people. And, it's just very well thought out. It's very well thought out. And, there wasn't many like details missed. Number 5, the Rep Open Trap Bar. Same idea as the SSB. So the Rep Open Trap Bar is an extremely well thought out product. Rep basically took everything else on the market, looked at it, saw what works, saw what doesn't, and combined everything that does into just a really solid option. It's balanced, rackable, multiple handle options, stainless steel handles. So like a lot of the details where it's going to last a long time. So yeah, very awesome option there. Number 4, we're going with the Bells of Steel cable towers. So Bells of Steel brought selectorized and plate loaded towers to the market at really good prices. And I don't think the quality to price options were quite there yet. So I think they kind of saw what was out there all the way from Titan to, Zornex, and just saw like, let's make some better options for the home gym community. And they did. So these are really solid, and there's so much that you can do with these. And I think like these are options that people can add earlier into their home gym journeys, as opposed to waiting for more expensive functional trainers and such. So bravo, Bells of Steel. And then Bells of Steel again at number 3. And then I will say like the community reaction to those, and also this Bells of Steel lat pull down slash low row was really high. So this lat pull down, again, just kind of looked at the market, saw kind of tighten at the bottom, and then a lot of really expensive options at the top for the lat pull down slash slow row, the selectorized options at least, and came to the market with a really good price, high quality product, 310-pound weight stack, includes a stainless steel lat bar and some other stuff. So, and again, just at a really good price, and it's really good. I've used this one as well and can highly recommend it for the price. All right, number 2. Do you know the top 2?
I had some guesses on some things I thought should be up there, and you have named most of them. I can tell you, I think the Rep Aries is going to be in the top 2. Am I right on that?
Yes.
Okay, and then I'm slightly embarrassed. Okay. There's been so many that you've named.
You're gonna kick yourself. So number 2, Athena side mount.
Okay.
From Rep. So these are a couple of stack and also pulley options that you can use as kind of like what we mentioned, bells of steel, like a single pulley. You can add one at a time, both at a time as like a functional trainer. And it's one of those things that you can add on to your Rep rack to make it like that all-in-one option. So that's number 2. Number 1 is the Aries. So while I personally would go with Athena and then like the selectorized low row, this Aries is just like super impressive. And, the reviews are high so far. I haven't used it, but I think, when we polled the audience, that's what most people said was the best release of the year. I would just agree. Like, it's just a one-time buy that you can add to your rep rack, and you have a lat pull down and functional trainer added to your power rack. So there we go.
There it is. Yeah, I would. I loved your top 10. I think a lot of those things are like practical things. There are a lot that a lot of people can afford and bring in, like the different bars and like the Atlas attachment and the bells of steel cable tower. And then you had like the 2 big ones, right, at the very top, which you can't really disagree with. They were huge when they came onto the scene and really like changed the game up with like the way people like look at their racks. You asked for some adjustments that I would have done, so I'll give you a few. I would have kicked down it's for the reason that I said you're either one of those guys or you're not. So the jammer arm stuff would have been kind of like at the bottom of my list, bottom top. Okay. You know what I mean? Okay. The 25-ish. Yeah. The yokes as well. I'm not a yoke guy. Okay. I feel like if you were to get out of yoke, your entire workout would be the yoke. Just like you said, it takes so much effort to set up and get going on those. So those would have been kind of pushed down. Things like the Zbex sled, that would have come up quite a bit for me. Okay. I kind of like think of something like that, like in the realm of like when it came out, just like it's weird to compare it to an attachment, but like the Atlas attachment, something like really cool and unique and it's hard to say unique when they already have sleds, but I was excited when it came out. Barbell bomb, things like that. I like it like right in the middle. I think you did a good job there just because of like price and affordability for like anybody, So, but overall, I mean, all these things are, big releases for the year.
I mean, there's a lot of good stuff there.
Oh yeah. Honestly, like this year in the home gym scene was all about new releases. Yeah. I felt like the home gym scene obviously blew up with COVID. Like we've seen more people enter building out their own home gyms and things like that when COVID came about. And it was almost like keeping up with demand for all these companies for like 2020, 2021. And then we got into 2022 and it's all about innovation. So it's been really fun to watch. I have to say, like making a list and looking at all these things, it would be really hard to rank them. So kudos for coming up with a top 25. And I can definitely see how your list grew from 10 to 15 to 22 to 25 because there are so many things out there.
Exactly. It was like, oh, I have to have this on the list. I have to have this on the list. Oh, one thing that like really threw me off was I forgot about the Atlas attachment until like I had the list of 22, I think. And I was like, I have to put the Atlas attachment.
And you put it up.
I was like,
it jumped up quite a bit, and I think it deservingly so.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was tough, and I honestly like changed the list every single time. I could honestly, if I looked at it right now, there's a few things I'd probably change up after like going over it. But
what's one thing that you left off that was hard to leave off? Is there anything out there?
No,
I can think of one, but it's kind of a cheat. So,
what was it?
The one I would say would be the AB 3000 2.0, but is that really a new release?
No. So yeah, I really tried to not add the like just V2s,
right?
Like the Titan SSB, the AB 3000, like the Northland trap bar. I really like the Northland trap bar.
Yeah.
But I think that's been around since like 2019.
Okay.
And it's just been like modified. So I tried to not do those things. That was actually something I meant to add in the disclaimer. But there were a few of them that I did anyways because I liked the adjustments that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fun. I like that list.
Cool. Well, we'll make sure to add all of these products in the description. There will be a follow-up blog that will go along with this podcast. And I think that's going to do it.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for Jake's breakdown of new releases for the year 2022. In our next episode, we're going to cover the survey data and wrap up the year. So thanks for listening. Jake, do you have anything else?
Nope.
All right, guys, we'll catch you next time. Bye.